The true believer. This is the true believer. This is a good one. So, before I go to that one, dreams. You've picked up a theme here, and if you're in the middle of a dream right now that is like stuck in the mud, please gain some encouragement. All right, it takes longer than you think, right? Hopefully not as long as mine did, but it could be, maybe, I don't know. It takes a long time. And there may be such a thing as an overnight success, but I feel like the ones who are overnight successes don't stay that way very long. More often than not, the so-called overnight successes are anything but. I have so many stories from our early days. There was one time when Kim and I spent $200 on a craft show in the Milwaukee area, I believe, to sell prints of our Kim and Jason artwork. Now, $200, that was a lot of money for us, okay? Remember Hamburger Helper Diet? $200 was like 2 months of groceries for us. And so that was a big investment. And we were next to a guy who was selling knockoff Garfield tchotchkes. Super illegal, like not even good quality stuff, all right? He was raking it in. We walked out of there with $7.92. $7.92 worth of greeting cards. It's funny how you remember a number like that. And then we went to Outback and drowned our sorrows with sirloin steaks, which just made our negative profit margin even worse. All right, it was happy times. I have a lot of stories like that. I have a lot. I won't bore you with all of them, but over the years, I have often felt a lot like this sloth, making so little progress with a lot of effort and just not getting very far. But then, it's cool to look back and see that craft show and then think of this, man, that silent auction did better than $7.92, Kim. Yes, we've made progress. This is good. But I'm actually a little impressed and somewhat surprised by how far we've come when I look back at those old days, that's good. There's a sense of satisfaction in gaining some ground, even if it's not as far along as you would have liked. But it does. It takes time, and this goes for everything. We're starting a business, to paying off your Bank of America card, to finding that special someone, to mastering the clarinet. The good stuff just takes time. And of course, thanks to the proliferation of microwave ovens and high-speed internet, it just feels like everything should be going faster. Everything should be and then the media shares stories of all these overnight successes and they catapulted to fame and fortune. What's taking you so long? And it's just very overwhelming. And so that's pretty natural that eventually discouragement will settle in and you start to get discouraged. And this is the point where you need to listen to the true believers. And in this painting, that little bird is the hero of our story. All right? I was very blessed. I've been very blessed to have. I wouldn't be on this stage tonight if I didn't have a huge number of true believers in my life. My grandma Kay was one of the first ones. She helped me believe that I was special just for being me. A little bit of Mr. Rogers in there, I suppose. My third grade teacher, Mrs. Smith, she was the one who noticed my talent for art and really encouraged me to do something with it and gave me compliments to keep going. My Little League coach, Mr. Dawson, he was the one who helped me believe that I was a winner, that I deserved to win. My high school art teacher, Mrs. Garrett, she was the one who convinced me and my parents that I actually had the talent to do this for a living. And then there was a Deacon Vince, who was a big part of my teenage years, and he saw not a very confident teenager, but he saw someone who was a leader. You're a leader, and you can make an important contribution. And then when Kim and I got married and we started our business and we started this adventure, we were both blessed to have some true believers in both of our parents, both sets of our parents. Did so many things to help us out. And a lot of people don't have that. Like we're pretty blessed to have that. And so they were the ones, they saw the vision. If they kept their doubts to themselves, let's just say that. They kept their doubts to themselves, but they supported us however they could. And then I've mentioned before, our best friends Sue and Jenna have also were there in the very early days when we didn't know what the heck we were doing. And they weren't just empty words. They backed it up with action and money and prayer, and that to me signaled proof that maybe we had something here. That certainty that true believers have, that's invaluable. Because again, there will come a time when you lose faith in the vision and you're like, I don't know if this is any good. I suck. You'll have those moments like, I suck. This is terrible. And there were times where, as I mentioned, Kim and I were just like, I don't know if we're supposed to keep doing this. I didn't know how it would turn out. And it was those moments when I looked at my parents and Kim's parents and Sue and Jenna, and like, I don't know, they see it. I don't right now, but they really do. And it wasn't just like empty compliments. Like, no one pours money into a lost cause. No one puts time into a lost cause. They're like, I wish you well, but you really should do something different. Like, they did it. And so the fact that they were there, they did that was like, that's what I needed to get to go another day. It's like, okay, there's something here. Maybe I'm not super delusional. Maybe there's, helped me keep going. And again, we look at the example of the Wright brothers. They had cheerleaders too. One of them was their sister, Catherine. She was one of their bigger ones. They regularly wrote letters back and forth to Catherine and of their wins and their failures, and she encouraged them. And later on, Orville got in a really bad accident where he was almost killed. His passenger was killed. He was in the hospital for months, and Catherine was there hanging out, bringing him back to life. Octave Chanute was the guy that Wilbur exchanged 400 letters with over the course of his life. And this is a guy who is a pioneer in aviation, knew a lot of stuff, and he knew a lot of people. And so he encouraged the Wright brothers to keep doing what they were doing and help spread their work to other people. Charlie Taylor was a mechanic that they hired to mind their bicycle shop when they were away doing their experiments. And he was a pretty good mechanic. He was actually the guy who built the motor that the Wrights would ultimately need. Maybe that's why they didn't really worry about it, because they got the motor when they needed it, when the time was right? And then this guy, Leon Bolle, was the guy in Europe who helped Wilbur. He was kind of his liaison in France to help him get connections with the people he needed to meet and help organize the different public demonstrations, and didn't ask anything in return. So there were all kinds of people that were supporting Orville and Wilbur. And so we need cheerleaders to succeed. And of course, we need to be cheerleaders for one another, for our kids, for our grandkids, for our spouse, for our friends who are, they're trying, they're doing the best, and every once in a while they just need someone to be like, you know what, I see you, you're making progress. You might not see it, but you can do it. And so I think I've thought a lot about, like, why does it take so long for dreams to come true? And I think sometimes it's because it's like we got to prove that we want it, right? If you give up on the first try, you don't really deserve it. You got to put the skin in the game, right? But I think at least in my life, the most important part of a dream is who you become in chasing it. That's the important part, and that's I think why it takes so long. Maybe I'm a slow learner. Maybe that's what it is. It's That's why it took me so long. I don't know. But when you're discouraged, find the true believer. Believe them. Believe them when they tell you that you're on the right track. And remember that achieving anything worthwhile, if this sloth knows anything, achieving anything worthwhile is a marathon, not a sprint.